Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Michele Whitting and Reverend Jeannie Soverns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time. And rebroadcast on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday. Sofa Sundays with Michele and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
All right, good morning. Happy Sofa Sunday, people. Yay. Oh my goodness. So we're here. It's a beautiful, beautiful Phoenix day. You know, my man True's here, taking care of us, making sure everything's done well. We are at where I always tell you, I hope you don't mind that I tell people where I am. So I'm here at the Unleash Your Life Studios, the home of Reverend Dr. Michele Whitting, who has amazing practice here where she does wonderful classes, circles, events. We have a year-long class called Your Best Year Yet. This year, we're in 2.0, the Grand Adventure, loving it. So we are located at 7220 North 16th Street. That's between Glendale and Northern in Phoenix. If you still have a few minutes, you can get here if you're in the Phoenix area. Come on down. We're waiting. If not, and you're not drivable to us, we appreciate you being live with us here or on our replay either today or later on New Thought Media Network. So we are grateful you are here. And I don't know, normally I complain about something or talk about something before I start on, but I must admit, I have no complaints today. You know, the weather's starting to get better. Life is abundantly blessed. I've got pumpkin spice coffee. I mean,
that's all you need.
Really, life is not got, you know, I don't have any complaints today. So
then let's just get started.
Then with that, we will.
Get this party started.
Let's get this party started. I'm gonna make sure what?
Instagram's on.
Oh, thank you. We're on there, huh?
I think so.
Okay. We hope Instagram's on. Instagram, if you're on, say hi. All right. You want to press it?
I'd love to.
Okay.
So if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, I invite you to do that. Take a really deep breath all the way down into your belly. Connect with that amazing power center that sits right there. And bring the fullness of who you are to this now moment. Right here, right now, in this room, in this space, in this field of energy that expands so far beyond this room, that includes every person watching now and later. We bring the fullness of who we are to recognize the one presence, the one power, the one essence, the one energy, the one life that has many names, and it matters not what we call it. But for clarity and ease, let's just call it God. And knowing that that life force, that essence, that energy, that expression of life that is God, lives, moves, and has its being as each and every one of us, uniquely expressing, perfectly expressing as who we are, right here and right now, always and in all ways perfect, and open to evolving, to expanding more into the perfection that we already are. So I know that this morning, as we gather here today, each of us is blessed. Each of us in the room, each of us watching online, each of us watching later. We are blessed. There is something here this morning for us to support our expansion, to support our unfoldment, to support our shining our lights in the world in brighter and brighter ways. And for all of this, I am so profoundly grateful. And my heart is overflowing with a gratitude and appreciation. And in that overflowing, I call it good. I know it's good. I know this unfolds perfectly. And so I and we let it be. And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Amen. Love that. So I might not have introduced you. I just assumed that everybody here and everybody watching knows who you are.
May not be the case.
That may not be the
Let's not
case.
make that assumption.
Right? That is true. So
Yeah.
this is Reverend Dr. Michele Whittington. So there you go. The one and only. And I love that we're sitting on the sofa talking. Again.
Always.
Yeah, always. Yeah. We meet here quite often. Not the sofa, but in this space. Yeah. We have a Tuesday night group that I love, and we get to be a huge light in the world.
We do.
And we bring forth the things that help us smile more. That's what we did recently.
What makes you smile?
What makes you smile? And that Barb, she makes me smile.
Yeah,
Hi, Barb. Hi, Abby. So, I have a reading as always, and you have your books. Thank you, Affiliated New Thought Network, for our books. And I probably could show one that is less.
You might want to start using a new one.
I know. I have many. Yeah. So I was saying. But all my notes are in this one. So, you know what?
That's good. I've read it.
You've read it? Okay, she's
I've
good.
read it today already.
All right. So you know
it. Too.
it's going to be page 48.
Here, I got it. I got my book.
Page 48. For those of you that brought your glasses.
Or if you just want to listen, now you can do this, right? Oh, by the way, online, if you don't have a book,
Right? The Affiliated New Thought Web Network's New Thoughts for Today. It is on Amazon, and I will put the link in this later on today. So if you still have not ordered your book, we'll make sure that you can get it. All right, today's is called Employment. The spiritual life is not a special career involving abstraction from the world of things. Evelyn Underhill, Practical Mysticism. When we know in every aspect of our being that the divine source of everything is ours to draw upon, then we know the supply is always available. We acknowledge this source as it provides all the good we manifest in our lives. Looking outside ourselves is not as important as looking within. We do not need to change what we are to become better in our relationship with life. Only open up to a greater expression of who and what we are as spiritual beings having a human experience. Giving is as necessary as the air we breathe. It is the yearning of our soul to express our God-given gifts. This spiritual purpose provides an innate sense of purpose in the natural process of giving and receiving. The exchange is a constant reminder of our intimate connection of what we have given and received. Everything I send out returns to me in some form. I allow for the free flow. I am a catalyst for good in the world. You have an infinite source of energy, love, joy, and wisdom. Your purpose is to give these gifts. In giving, the flow is encouraged to, through, and as a natural outpicturing of spirit. I am divinely employed. Reverend Dr. Celeste Turkin, Religious Science, Boca Raton, Florida. So, for those in the room, you have your card. I have an infinite source of energy, love, joy, and wisdom. Wow.
wow.
I loved this.
Me too.
Especially, the spiritual life not being a special employment. That it's something that we all have as human beings.
Yeah. And I love the idea, because sometimes we want to separate like our work, like what we do for a living, from everything else, from our spirituality. Like, well, this is my job, but then I'm on my spiritual path. Well, what if our job was our spiritual path, right? Or one of the avenues for our spiritual path? One way in which we show up in the world as the light. Yeah, I love that concept. That can be hard if you got a hard job. It can be difficult if you work with difficult people, right? But that's the journey. That's the human journey of learning how to navigate those things that are challenging and difficult, and still stay centered and desirous of expressing of expressing who we are.
Sounds like a god or a goddess. Desirous.
Desirous. There you go. So when I read that this morning, I was thinking of a story that I told. So some of you may have heard the story before, but it's a parable, really, about an interviewer who wanted to talk about work with people who were working on they were building a church. And so they were just starting with the building of the walls. And so she went up to one laborer who was bent over and, had his trowel and he's laying cement and putting cement on the blocks. And she said to him, "So tell me, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, you could probably see I'm breaking my back in the sun is what I'm doing. This is horrible." I said, "Okay, thank you." Walked on to the next person. "So tell me, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm building a wall." "Okay, thank you." Went to the next person. He said, "Well, I am building this section over here of a church." "Thank you." Went to the final person. "What are you doing?" And that person was also bent over and sweating, like the first person, but he stood up, like tall and proud, and kind of looked up and he said, "I am building a cathedral to God."
Nice.
And I thought that's, the job was the same with all four of those people, but how do you look at it? He looked at it through his spiritual lens.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference when we're doing things on how we look at it. Just talking to my brother-in-law yesterday, and he was talking about his job and having somebody that was maybe just dealing with life differently than him. And he saw it first as irritating and he didn't want to be around it. And then his next way of looking at it was it being an opportunity for him to learn and grow and see and be a different person when he gets, because he's got this hard labor type job right now that he wants to do something different and he's waiting for that to open up. And he's like dealing with this person, the opportunity is to learn how to do this so that I can be different in this next position. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Some of us have to go through a lot of learning to understand that, and have the experience over and over again. And by some of us, I mean me, before I realized that these people that maybe got under my skin or irritated me in some way, they were my opportunity to learn how to grow and expand and be more the light, and to bring joy into my own life, versus giving away that energy to somebody else. Yeah. Which I have been known to do. Anybody else? Yeah, okay. I just checked.
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah, the other, and maybe the other, not other side of that, but just another piece of that, I think. Because what I said in our prayer, I 100% believe that we are already perfect, we are perfect. And in our humanness, right, in our essence, at the soul level, we're perfect. And in our humanness, we're always evolving. We're always evolving. We're always growing. We're always changing. We're always learning. If we're open to that. And one thing I think I've found in my life many iterations of work, of employments, is that sometimes these things that come in that are challenging or, they are really for us to be able to, yes, learn to expand and love deeper, but also to be really clear about what works for us and what doesn't. And to, as lovingly as possible, say what doesn't work. So it's that whole boundary thing, right? That sometimes in the spiritual world we can lose a little bit of boundaries because it's all good, it's all God, right? Well, in this world of human, I like to imagine, in this world of human experience, if we are like that, we will get walked over, and we will, So it's sometimes the spiritual growth, at least for me, has been a willingness to go, no, what, actually, this doesn't work. This actually doesn't work for me. And so this needs to change, or I need to leave, or we need to do this dance differently, or something has to change. And I think it's high and holy spiritual work to be able to get those words out of our mouth.
Wow, yes.
In a loving, kind as possible way.
Absolutely.
That's part of my unfoldment journey for sure.
Yeah, I have part of that in my journey as well. Being able, my this year mantra, and I have a feeling it's going to go far past 2024, is stand out, speak up, shine on. To be able to say the hard words, because that has not been, prior to this moment, an easy thing for me.
Yeah.
To say the hard words or ask for something even. So there's the thing, we go back to divine employment. If I am looking at my spiritual development and persona and light body as being divinely employed to give God a good time, to be here to experience all there is to experience, how am I going to do that if I don't open my mouth? Right? There are things that I'll miss in that thing. However, I don't always know the best way to open my mouth, to say that's not right or I'd like more. Whatever that I have a problem with both. It's not just I don't like something. I also have a problem of, can I have more, please? So learning to do both those things has, been, as a learning process for me this year. I have expanded in so many ways. Like, I made that a goal to learn how to do that this year, and really did.
So what, may I ask?
Yeah,
You brought it up.
Yes, ma'am.
You opened your mouth about this.
I did.
So what helped you take that step? Take that first step to say whatever it was.
Right.
To actually say it. What helped you do that?
So,
Besides the coach.
right. Oh, that's what I mean. Right. Well, I did. I had a coach. And that was the thing. When this first came up for me, this mantra for me, and that there were many things that kind of added to it. I sought out a coach. I asked you, hey, what can we do? And you said, here's the guidelines of what I work with. And, I highly recommend this to anyone looking, because that was the first part. I didn't know where to start. So for me, being able to open my mouth and ask for help was the number one thing, right? And then the things that happened for me were like, here are your upper limits, dear sweet Jeannie, which took me totally off of what I was asking for help with. And I would go to my coaching sessions with, well, I didn't get a chance to do the things we talked about because blah, 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 right? And so then we'd have to work on blah, 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 blah. And that was also something that I learned was part of my journey to expand. Because all of this has been about my own self-realization, about what I put in my way, what I trip over, the things that that cause me to stop when I'm very passionate or excited about something. I feel the fear. Now I feel the fear and do it anyway. Right? That that's something that we've talked about in our Tuesday night class, and we've also talked about here on the sofa, is about that fear's not going away.
Right.
It's there for a reason, right? Fear is there to help you, to guide you, to keep you from putting your hand on the hot stove, and to remind you that every cell in your body is moving. I'm sorry that you missed it. Hi. Sorry about that. We were in the world's problems while we were gone. Sorry that you missed it. Yeah, but we'll be. Wait a minute. There we are.
Yay.
We're back. I don't know. Yep, Instagram's still there, isn't it? Wait a minute. Wi-Fi. And you love technology too. There we go. I think we're good.
Yay. Are you on YouTube?
We are on YouTube. We should be. That's the Instagram is still having. Oh no, it's here. Okay, we're still here.
I'm impressed, by the way. I'm impressed that you were able to do that. Yeah. If that had happened to me, I would have said, Abby. I'm not kidding. That's not a joke.
I do think we're still on. Let's see. Just check. Yep, it shows me checking the phone on YouTube, so we're still on. There we go.
Yay. So I want to comment on the importance of when we do see that growth in ourselves, when we ask for what we need or say those hard words that we weren't able to do before, or whatever it is, whatever the growth in divine employment, which is life itself, right? That we pause. We don't do this enough, I don't think. Pause and recognize and celebrate that, oh my gosh, I did that differently. Because sometimes we grow, we kind of don't even think about how I used to be, because now I'm here. But this is very different from here. And then I grow to here, and that's different from here, and we don't think about it. So it's really, I think, so important that we pause and just go, well, look at that. Not in a pat yourself on the back, like bloated way, as Emerson said, get your bloated nothingness out of the way. So it's not that, but just an acknowledgement, a celebration of, wow, look at that. I had an example just this week of, so it used to be really hard, impossible to get things out of my mouth that I might have to say that you might not like. It was impossible, and then I grew to the point that I could do it. I had to fire people. Oh, that was so hard, but I did it, right? But I was stressed about it, and I got sick to my stomach, and when I had to release people from their job, and Caldwell, who comes here always, would be my HR consultant. She would hold my hand through that. My point is that this week, so I work as the executive director of the affiliated Youth Network. And this week I had to have what would have been a really uncomfortable conversation with someone about something that they had promised and hadn't done, hadn't happened. And this was more than once. And in the past, that would have been a hard conversation. I would have thought about it, I might have written a few things down. And this time, and I'm just kind of recognizing it right now, this time I was like, oh, I'm going to make that call. And I did. And I said it. And I said it nicely, and which helped it be received. And it was actually a lovely conversation. And a movement happened. And I did sit and think at that moment, which I forgot about till right now, like, oh, look at that. Look how we handled that. That was way different than even a year ago. So always take a moment to acknowledge yourself. Celebrate that shift. Big, little, anywhere in between. And don't just zip along like, oh, this is just life now. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I love this celebration and appreciation of self and others. And that.
Yes.
I also had, it's been a wonderful week, right?
Yeah.
I also had something happen this week, and my initial response was to get, oh no, you didn't. And and my partner, just as I was about to respond, said, hey, take a moment.
Yeah.
Breathe through this.
Take a pause.
You are responding out of emotions right now. Take a breath. And so I didn't respond. We spoke, and I breathed. Because there are time periods where you hold your breath, you don't even realize you're holding your breath, right? And then all of a sudden you breathe, and there goes your shoulders, and there goes your body. And that's what I was discussing with my brother-in-law yesterday too, about that meditative moment of breathing and the difference that it feels in your body when you do that. And so I did that, and this other person that I was responding to continued to spin. Obviously, they did not have a Dakota to say, hey, take a breath, and continued to spin. And at that moment, I thought, oh, okay, so because my response was all about my being offended. And afterwards, I realized this has nothing to do with me at all. No matter how many times I was mentioned, it really had nothing to do with me. And I was like, wow. And so we were talking about this, and I was like, I'm really proud of me, because that is not who I used to be. So yes, thanks for bringing that up, because celebrating and acknowledging when you've made that shift, I think is important, because it allows you to see that this shit really works. It really works, You're not just doing all this work for nothing. You're not just hanging out, so that you can get a good cup of coffee. I mean, although you could. No, you could. You can get a good cup of coffee. And pumpkin spice is available in the kitchen in a great mug. That could be your only reason. However, there are other benefits.
Yeah. I love a spiritual teacher, Reverend Johnny Coleman, used to say, she's this amazing powerhouse of a woman, probably 6'2" African American woman. The first, okay, a little digression here. She was the first African American to go to Unity School of Ministry. And actually at that time, this was a long time ago, she was not allowed to stay on campus.
Wow. What?
Yeah. And Unity has since issued her a formal public apology for that. But back in those days, in the 40s, I think. Nonetheless, I digress. I have a bit of my mother.
One in Chicago.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, she used to say, we got to stand on our own big two spiritual feet. But the other thing that you made me think of is she would say, this stuff works if you work it. Right? So it is more than reading a book. It's more than coming and listening. Those are important. That's where we get knowledge and new ways of looking at things and new concepts. But we've got to apply them. We've got to put them in our life. How can I use this?
Right? We've got to change that neural pathway.
How do we?
Yeah. Right? Because and that's something else we were discussing. My goodness, I didn't know I was going to talk about our conversations, but we were discussing. Right? But we were discussing that too. Is that like how many times we do things because we're used to doing?
That's the habit.
Right. That happens there, right? Where it's like, okay, well, I wake up in the morning and I get my cup of coffee, right? Like everything from doing that exercising, all the good stuff, but also the bad stuff too, right? Like, oh, I'm at a birthday party. Chocolate cake is available. I'll have 6 pieces. No, I mean, like, whatever. You have a little chocolate problem. So the thing that we have that is that automatic response, that habit, some addictions, right? Now, changing that neural pathway. Same thing with thought patterns, right? These are all thought patterns. They all happen in your head before they happen outside of us. So now changing that thought pattern, what does that take? Yeah, right? So changing from being in that amygdala part, that fight or flight part, to that choice part of my brain that allows me to take that breath, to make a different choice and be in a different space and feel differently.
And how lovely that you have a beloved partner who was able to lovingly call you on that.
Yes.
Right? And say, take a beat, take a breath. How fabulous. How fabulous of you
That I
for
listened.
not getting offended, and telling her to go take a hike. Had you really been in that deep neural pathway of a victim, right? But you didn't. So
Right.
good on you. Good on you. And yeah.
Yeah, I guess we didn't acknowledge. That's another thing that I'm used to doing is like, yeah, babe.
Yeah.
But I did it. I listened. That's a big step in a relationship 10 years later.
It's growing.
It only took 10 years to start to listen.
We're always growing.
Hey, anybody have anything they want to add? I didn't see any hands, but we have mics ready to go. What do you think, Brian? Yeah, I know Brian has things to say. Sure more.
I don't have anything.
Not yet.
I don't.
There it is.
There we go.
I don't have anything actually.
What about a celebration?
Celebration.
Noticing of a growth. Oh yeah. Not a growth. Not a growth. Like a growth step.
There.
That's right.
Well, in our condo, there's some stupid stuff going on that is drawing to a close, and so I'm thankful that is drawing to a close. So I don't have to be dealing with that anymore.
There you go.
Hopefully anymore. But,
Absolutely. We'll affirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we know that's Melanie.
You're good.
It was great to hear about the boundaries piece because that's something I struggle with. It's all good, it's all God, and in my job I encounter a lot of not good stuff. So I have to have that firm boundary. And that was something that I was struggling with the whole new thought philosophy. I feel sometimes like the all good, all God, then you make yourself a doormat.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Thank you for anchoring in that idea. Powerful.
Yeah.
I want to say some good, please.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. I struggle with the difference between acceptance and being a doormat, and I struggle with boundaries and being judgmental. And so, to me, those are, I've tried boundaries. Maybe I'm not very good at it, and the other person has said, "You're judging me." No, I'm judging me, what I want, and what I don't want. But I do struggle with those pieces that I think are so important.
So if I might, may I?
You may.
So, Barb, I'd love for you to select a different word from judge. So judging, so this is Michelle's definition.
Yes.
Judging is finding fault with.
Correct. That's what
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad, wrong. Whether I'm judging myself as bad, wrong, I'm judging you as bad, wrong, I'm judging the circumstances bad, wrong. Versus discernment. Discernment says this does not work for me. I'm not judging it bad or good. I'm just saying this experience, pattern, behavior in myself or in you or in the circumstance, this isn't working for me. So I need to do something different. I need to see it. I need to have a different avenue. However, nonetheless, even if you are absolutely discerning and not judging, you're discerning. You're standing for yourself, kindly and lovingly, saying what works and what doesn't. That doesn't mean somebody's not going to get.
Well, that's
Yeah.
my experience.
Well, but you don't get to control other people's response.
Unfortunately.
I'm talking to you back there in the back row as well, my friend. Right? We don't get to control that. And that's what we want because we might have a bit of a pleaser in us. I got, yeah. If we've got a strong pleaser in us, then we're really gonna not like that. And then our judge is gonna judge us for being mean and, oh, you know, I'm nasty and I'm not a good person.
And that's what kept me quiet for many years, not to open my mouth and say what I wanted or didn't want. It, again, because I wanted you to be happy.
Yeah.
And what I found out is other people weren't happy.
Yeah.
So not only was I not happy, they weren't happy. This was not working. You know, it wasn't working because people can feel your energy. They know if you're being inauthentic on something, no matter how many times you go, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm really fine. No, I'm fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, they know that that's not the truth. You know, so then they're butting up against the energy you're bringing out, which is like, I am not good. This is not right, and I don't want to do it. Yeah, that's good. I'll take it. You know, so like the two opposites, people are like, I know you're saying it's good, but it doesn't feel good to me. So you're still getting this. You're still getting the same response as if you had said, you know what, that doesn't work for me. You know,
And then you're clean and honest, and then the other person can make the choice.
yeah.
All right, well, all right, then that doesn't work for me either, so you make the choice. So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that?
Fine feelings I'm not expressing.
Say that again.
Fine feelings I'm not expressing.
Yeah.
Other
Oh.
not nice version.
I have not heard that. So just because you weren't on mic, I'll say it again. Fine equaling feelings I'm not expressing.
That's good.
That is really good. That is I will. That is really good. Because I have not, I've heard some of the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, I have it. Offline, you'll have to tell me what the other ones are.
Well, yeah.
Well, I figured that, but I'm trying to make the rest of it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, because I was more along the neurotic, insecure part, you know, one that goes into the fine. But yeah, feelings, and that's exactly what it is when I say it. I mean, that I get that, you know, and I think that, you know, that's part of the pleaser, and also part, when I will say it, part of the, I'm not quite sure what I'm feeling. Because it's not that I'm not expressing it to you. It's, I don't know what it is. I know that it's not what my day was. Like, I know I'm having an emotion, but I don't always know, like, a name for that. There's some kind of uncomfortability that I'm having, but I don't have a name for what it is. And I think that kind of stops too if you don't have somebody to like hash it out with, or even have time to hash it out, like for yourself. You know, somebody just made you angry. You know, no, sorry. Somebody said something and then you responded in anger. Sorry, I caught myself. You know, but I might not always know why I was angry. You know, and I don't have the time to delve into it at that moment because, you know, I'm at Burger King and, you know, whatever, you know. So giving yourself that opportunity as well before you respond to something, or, you know, even have that conversation with yourself. You know, sometimes I just need to have that peace, that moment of breath and go, oh, that triggered me because It reminded me of, the last time I was at Burger King and they forgot my pickles. Whatever your thing is. I try to keep it benign. I don't mean to pick on Burger King, by the way. This is, just as an example. What other celebrations?
Yeah. Anybody notice the growth from then to now? Anything? Mind y'all have been on this journey for a little while.
True. You were thinking, I can tell. Okay. I can see a lot of growth in you. Yeah, he did get a lot taller. No, she was like, just kidding, you did get a lot taller. I noticed that today, actually. I turned around and I was like, oh, hi. Hi. How'd that happen? Yes.
My mom will be like, my mom, is mom?
Yeah.
My mom will be like, she'll be like, oh my God, you're so tall. And I'll like hug her. I'll be like, yeah, I know. And then she'll wear heels. I'm still taller than her. She's like, oh my God, you're so tall. I'll hug her. I'm like, yeah, I know. And she says it to me like every day. So I don't like the same height as my brother now.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother's 17.
Yeah. Yeah, true, just turned 13. Yeah.
I'm turning 14.
You're turning 14 in September. Oh my gosh. That year went.
Yeah.
That year went.
Oh, no.
Right?
I remember when I was here. Here.
Yeah.
In Michelle.
The other Michelle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. And one of the other things that I've noticed besides your height is that you have really stepped up as far as your emotional development and maturity when you talk about the things that you deal with in school or in sports, anything like that. When you discuss that, you are a young man who has really put thought and energy into being the best you can be. And I've appreciated that both here and then knowing you outside of Sofa Sunday. So, I'm very grateful for you.
It was a charity. My room's clean for a change.
Oh, see? Is that because mom's gone? Your room's clean?
No, I just cleaned it.
You just cleaned it. I love it. Yeah, that's awesome.
And you know what you just did is so important because we sometimes can't even see our own growth. We don't see it. But when we have somebody in our life who says, no, I see it. And let me tell you what I see. That's a really empowering, powerful thing.
Right.
So, let's help each other see our own growth by not, because sometimes we see it, we notice it, but we don't say anything. We notice this or that wonderful thing about someone and we just keep it to ourselves. Why do we do that? Why don't we just say it? I'd love it if we just made a commitment. Maybe I'm just saying this to myself. That when we think something lovely about someone else, whether it's their growth that we've seen or just how much we appreciate them or whatever it might be, we actually just say it. We don't just think it.
I love that. I can make that commitment.
That's our challenge.
That's our challenge. We got it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. All right. Thank you.
You can't force someone. I have to do that for you.
Unless they live with me. No, I'm kidding. That was great, babe. I love this. This was a great conversation, and I had no idea where we were gonna go with the term employment. I was like, wow, that's a really different, but being divinely employed, it all fell in there, right? It's all about that.
Yep.
And yes, the appreciation part, both for yourself and for others. I think that is the biggest takeaway I have for today is remembering that, remembering to practice that because it does bring the light out into everybody, right?
Yes. Amen, sister.
Thank you. Hallelujah. We have anything else? Are we feeling complete? Yeah? Awesome.
Beautiful.
Anybody gonna ask me?
How can we support
Oh,
you?
thank you, Barb. I mean, one, I'm going to say you can support Sofa Sundays by sending prayers and blessings out to Anne. She wasn't 100% today, so we're sending you love, Annie. And you can also support us by liking, subscribing, and sharing our YouTube. And subscribe, please subscribe so that you can not miss out on any of the Sofa Sundays experience. Also, our Facebook group, it is an amazing place to share more about your experience in the world and hear more about Sofa Sunday members who are doing different things in the world. Again, shout out to Brian Black and his radio podcast, anything Posy. And if you're part of our team, let us know. Let us know how we can support you as well. And also, there's always the financial contribution that you can make on beginwithinministries.com. You can make a one-time donation. You can sign up to become a spiritual church club partner, which gets you a beautiful mug and a little sofa charm and our classes that Michele Izubu, and I practice that, and I teach, or anything else that we do here at Sofa Sundays at a discounted rate, as well as finding out more about what's happening around the Valley. And speaking of which, I just want, and that's $45 a month and $75 for a couple or family. But I wanted to let you all know that the first Saturday of every month until November at New Vision Center at 9:30. Somewhere in the 9-ish hour. I want to say it's 9:30, but it might be 9 o'clock. And I'll post that as well on Facebook. I share that post. But we have a peace, politics, and prayer meeting, and it's different. It's not about the candidates, but it's about how we're feeling in this stage and development and sharing with others. So it is a workshop, prayer, meditative. I mean, there are so many things happening here. So if you're feeling a little off balance, politically speaking, with your spiritual self, I invite you to come to New Vision this Saturday. And
It's not this Saturday,
Isn't it
it's
this-
next.
Oh, no, isn't it the second?
But we have one more Saturday of the month.
We do?
We do. We have one
Oh
more
my
Saturday.
goodness, 2 weeks from now then. 2
months.
months, that's right.
It
We
is
do
the
have.
first Saturday of the month. And
Yes,
yes, I will be the featured person.
There you go.
Yeah, come, it's gonna be good.
It'll be very good. So I'll also put that on Sofa Sunday so that you guys can see the address, the time, etc. for that. So I just wanted to invite everybody out for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank you for having me on the sofa today.
thank you for coming and saying yes. I know it's a long drive for you.
It is a long drive.
Ooh.
For those of you who don't know, it takes me about 5 minutes to get here. If there's traffic.
If there's traffic, exactly. So I'm going to pray us out.
Yep.
So just knowing that in this divine presence, this amazing sense that is source energy, source joy, light, love, that is in this room, in each and every body, in each and every breath, each and every heartbeat. This is God. And I am one with this. And this oneness is life, love, liberty, and freedom. And for this, I am so grateful. Knowing and affirming that this time together has brought each what they need. and grateful and appreciative of all that is in this divine moment. Here I say, thank you, God, thank you, life, thank you, universe. And I let it go, and I call it good. And together we say, and so it is. Yeah. Well, thank you. We will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.